So Mark's been doing a much better job of these 5-minute reviews than me, so I had to crank one out. So I'm going to do things a little different. I'm only going to watch movies that are free with ads. So Tubi, damn, that's it. Tubi. Well, YouTube and Freevee and all these places where you can watch movies with ads. You don't have to have a subscription. So when the episode comes out, you can go and find it if you are watching right away. So for me, if you know me, I love Van Damme. So why not start with some shit that's sort of a Van Damme adjacent? And what I mean by that is a film called Lady Bloodfight. This movie takes place in the Kumite. Now, if you're familiar with blood sport, that's the tournament that Jean-Claude Van Damme fights in. Now, this movie came out in 2017, so it's a lot more recent. Runs for $1.40. And it stars Amy Johnston, who most notably is like a stunt person. Like, she does a lot of stunts. So the physicality in the movie for a martial arts film is kind of important, and it's okay. You know, you can tell that they're actually performing the martial arts on screen. There's no like shaky cam bullshit hiding, someone's inability. It seems like they're all pretty well martial artists. Now, this movie honestly really has nothing to do with blood sport, to be honest. So if you remember Bloodsport, they go to fight. Frank Dukes, Van Damme fights in the Kumite, and he's got his big motorcycle friend with him. And the set for the Kumite is this like underground, dingy place, but it has stands, and there's like people in the stands betting and cheering and enjoying the matches. And in this movie, you can tell they're limited on budget, I guess, because the bulk of the fighting, with the exception of the final fight, happens in like a warehouse with containers. And there's this like big thing about being out of bounds is one way to lose, and it plays a major role in pretty much most of the fights. Now, the martial arts are fine. They're passable. You're not going to write home about it and be like, holy shit. And the story is kind of balls. So Amy Johnston, her dad went and fought in the Kumite, made it to the finals, but then disappeared before he ever fought in the final. And so he's kind of branded as this coward. So she goes there, I guess, to find him, but ends up meeting someone who also fought in the Kumite, but they don't ever talk about how there's a male Kumite and a female Kumite. They never get into that. So I don't know the deal with that, because her dad fought in the Kumite, and this Kumite is all women, so clearly there's a delineation somewhere. They don't get into it, at least that I noticed. And so she gets trained by this lady who also fought in the Kumite, who has a rival. And last year's Kumite, they went and they fought for like 8 days straight. That's an exaggeration, but I think it was several days. And in the end of it, they like did a draw. Like the people running the Kumite were so sick of this shit. They said, next year, you two pick trainees and enter them in the Kumite, and then whichever you has, better outcome from your trainees, well, I guess have won this Kumite. I don't know. So the one lady, evil lady, is training someone who's getting trained for no other reason than I think maybe she was like unhoused and needed a place to stay and gets trained. Well, Lady Bloodfight, Amy Johnson, who plays Jamie Jams, J and J. Her first initial and last initial are the same. Speaking of shaky cam. So, anyway, they train, right? And then you go through the fights. And so there's one thing about the costumes. So, some of the performers in this movie have, like, costumes. Full costumes. They look like they're fighting in Mortal Kombat. What the hell was that? Anyway, they look like they're fighting in Mortal Kombat. Okay? And it looks cool. But then Lady Bloodfight, who, again, I can't remember her character's name, is literally just fighting in a sports bra and yoga pants. She looks like she went to the gym. Could have maybe done some work there. Maybe wear some like traditional garb like her sensei could have given her. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, we're getting close to 5 minutes. But what I got to talk about is at the end of this movie, they go to the final fight, right? And in the crowd is her dad, but he's in like Obi-Wan Kenobi ghost form. It's so stupid. And the final fight it's fine. Like, fine's even a strong word. It's not bad, but there's nothing special about it. And she wins Lady Bloodfight and gets honored. And there's this whole side thing. You find out that her dad was killed by a guy who had made a bet, and he killed him to make sure that he continued to win that bet so he didn't have to pay out. Anyway, they find out, and there's a whole thing with the thing. The movie's not great, and it doesn't have enough to do with blood sport to warrant watching. So avoid it. Unless you want to watch it, that's fine.
I'm here to win.
So am I.